is mean, median, and mode. Mean, median, and mode. And it's one of the very vital topics when you are dealing with a central tendency. The central tendency, as a matter of fact, finding a midpoint between in a set of data. Mean, median, and mode is one of the aspects in the measure of central tendency. It's one of the aspects in when you're talking about the measure of central tendency, and basically is all about getting or calculating a absolute value, reasonable value, when using a discrete data to be able to analyze and interpret data according to values given. Do you understand? So you see that when you're talking about the mean, median, and mode, you're talking about how to get a central value which represents other values, in which from that central value you can deduce or interpret the occurrence, or you interpret what is actually happening for that particular set of data. So the measure of central tendency, the mean, median, mode, is used to calculate discrete data. That is when the data size is not very large. We have a different type of data. Some are very large, some are small. So, and in our last topic, we are able to talk about representing data with pictures, with graph, and all others, with bars. So those are most of the time are used to interpret or to represent not very large data. So let's talk about mode. This is the most frequency score or value in a set of data. Is most frequent in a set of data. So this is the most frequency score of value in a set of data. So you have to look for the most frequent data value, or the value or score in a set of data when you're talking about mode. For example, when you have 6, 5, 7, 10, 7, 11, 7, 17, 7, 6, 7, 4, 8. These are set of data. Each of these data are called value or score in that data. So the mode of the set of data above is 7. Why is it 7? Because it appeared or repeated the highest number of times in that set. So how many times do we have 6? We only have 6 times, 2 times. We have 6 2 times. How many times do we have 5? Just 1 time. How many times do we have 7? We have 1, 2, 3. That is 3 times. How many times do we have 10? We have just 1 time. How many times does 11 appear? We have just once. How many times does 17 appear? We have it as just once. And 8 appears also just once. So the most value that appears, that the value that appears most is 7. So it appears 3 times. So that value is what we call the mode of that set of values. So it is 7. So let's move to median. So before we move to median, when you're talking about mode, it does not matter if you arrange or you don't rearrange. Just look out for a set of data that has what the highest value, that occurs most. Then you have your mode. So median, this is the mid value of a set of values. This is the mid value of what? The mid value of a set of values arranged in order of size. That means you have to do what? A set of values given to you as a set of data. What you need to look after is, first of all, how do I arrange this set of data? Do I arrange it in ascending order or descending order? The arrangement could be from the least to the greatest, which is from ascending order, or from what? from greatest to the least, which is descending order. You get now? If you have 1 to 10, if you arrange the value, a set of data from 1 to 10, from 1 to 10, that means is what that is in ascending order, because it's increasing to the what is coming from the least to the lowest to the highest, or from the least to the greatest. You get now? And when you are coming from 10 to 1, then the same set of data, then you see that it's coming from the what, the highest, which is the greatest, to the least, which that is descending order. For example, if you have 1 3 8 2 9 7 3 6 1, you have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So you have 9 values. You have 9 values for this set of data. But now see, it is not being arranged in an orderly form. Maybe in ascending or descending order. So you need to look out for what, arranging it in a ascending or descending order. So we have this in ascending order. You have 1, you have another 1, you have 2, you have 3. How many times do we have 3? We have 3 times, so it shows 3 times 2. How many times do we have 6? So once. So we have 7 once, we have 8, and we have 9. So after rearranging, then you are good to go. That's the first step. Then if it is, perhaps you want to make it in a descending order, so you start from the highest or the greatest, which is 8 9 7 6 3 3 2 1 1. That is the other side of this. So the first here is what, that's the first value, the second value, the third position, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth. So if we are now looking for the median, which is the middle number, then what do we do? So you count from this side, the first, from this point. You count from this point, first, second, third. Don't forget you have just 9 values in this tensor set. Then from the other side you have 1 2 3 4. Do you get it now? So this is the mid position. So what position do you, what value do you find, can you find in the mid position? You can say is what is 3. Even if it is ascending order, it is still 3. If it is descending order, it is still what? 3. Do you get that now? If you arrange it very well, it will still give you 3. So this is the, so you should note that when you have two numbers in the mid position, you add 1 plus the number of items in the sets and divide by 2. So sometimes you have even number in the even number as a number of value or number of score in the data set. So, and sometimes you have odd number. So when you have odd number, it could be perhaps easier. But when you have even number, then you could have 2 numbers in the mid position. So how do you now find the median when you have such data set? So the median position, what is it? N open bracket n plus 1 over 2. That will give you what? That will not give you the value of the median, but will give you what? It will give you the point, the position. I mean the median position. It will give you the median position where n is where n is the number of items in the set. And if you see from the data set, we have just 9 items or 9 value from that data set. So then the mid position for it will be what? 9 plus 1. 9 plus 1, right? So 9 plus 1 over 2 will give us what? 10 over 2, which is 5th position. Do you get now? 5th position. You will see from this, from the point here, that it is what? 5th position. 1 2 3 4 5. So it is 5th position. So it will give, this formula will give you the position where you will find your median, whatsoever case, even if it is odd or even set of data. So the item on the 5th or position of the data set is 3, and that is your median. It's the 3, not the position. Don't forget, not the position. You don't say median is 5. It's not 5. The value in the position, in the 5th position, is your median, is the middle number, which is the median. If the data set is, for example, is 1 2 3 3, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This has been arranged in a in an ascending order. Then how do we get it? Don't forget, this value is in what? Is how many values do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can see it's 10. So we have 10 plus 1 over 2, which is 11 over 2, which is what? 5.5. So that is 5.5 is the position for the median value we are looking for. So how do we now get it? This arrange it very well. This is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth. But there is a value between 3 and 6. Between 3 and 6, they are supposed to give us the mid value. They have this 7, 8, 9, 10. So how do we now do that? Then you add 3. The two numbers that fall between that fall as the midpoint. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these two numbers fall between the encompass the mid value we are looking for. It should be the mid value we are looking for should be between the two mid value here. You get that now? So what do? You add these two numbers together, 3 and 6. You add it together. When you add it together, you now divide by 2. You add divided by 2. So 3 plus 6 will give you what? 9 divided by 2. 9 divided by 2 will give 4.5. So which is on the fifth? That 4.5 value is on the 5.5th position. Do you get that now? So the median is actually 4.5. So most simply, what you need to do when you have this set of data, when you have even number, what do? Just count from the left side, count from the other side. So the two numbers that are left, then you add it together, you divide by 2. Whatever you get will give you the what? Will give you the median. So let's go to mean. This is obtained by adding all the values of the data and dividing the sum by the number of the data. So what do you need to do? The first thing you need to do for you to get the mean of any data set is to do what? Is to first of all add all the values. Then what do you do next? You divide. Divide by what? You divide by the sum of what? Divide the sum by the number of data. Yeah. Dividing by the sum of the number of data. Now, for example, to get the mean of the set of data below, you have 3, 8, 7, 2, 8, 4. This you don't need to add. You don't need to arrange in an ascending or descending order. So what do you know? The number, we need the number of data. What's the number of data? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6, Abby. Then sum of the data. You do what? You sum it up. 1, 2, 3. Then it will be what? 3 plus 8 will give you what? 3 plus 8 will give you 11. Plus 11 plus 7 will give you what? It give you 18. Then 18 plus 2 will give you what? 20. Then 20 plus 8 will give you what? 28. And 28 plus 4 will give you what? 32. So the sum total, the sum of the data is what? 32. So it is now the sum total of the what? Of that data. There will be 32 over what? Over 6. Do you get it now? Yeah. So you have the number of data, which is 6, and you have sum of the data, which is 32. Then you should know that for you to get your mean is what? The sum of data over the number of data. So what is the sum of data? We have 32. 32 divided by 6, which is what? 5.33 of, or 5 whole number 1 over 3. So with this, you have gotten your mean. You have gotten your mean. So with this explanation, you should be able to solve as many central tendency, measure of central tendency problems. So the formula. So I want us to get to know. Yes, so or you have so I want to introduce you to the frequency distribution table. Before that, when you have the formula or the identity of mean is x bar, and there are two formula for it. You have summation x over n, where x is what? Where x is the sum total of all the sum of data, while n is the number of data. Or in another way, it could be what? Sometimes if you have a very large data with respect to frequency, then you do what? You have summation fx over n, or summation fx over ef. Ef is also what? N, which also means the number of data. So now let me just simply introduce to frequency distribution table. So in frequency distribution table, let's say this is given to us. Let's say this is given to us. This table is given to us, and we are asked to find the mean of this value of this data in a distribution table. You have a score. You have a score. You have a frequency. So the score is 30, 40, 45, 50, 60. Now what does this mean? It means that, okay, how many times emelu oni 30 emelu ló hàn nínú value yìí? Most times a máa ń lo table yìí nígbà tá bá ní data tó bá pọ̀. Iṣẹ́ tá fi kọ́ bá ṣe kọ́ àwọn eléyìí tá fi kọ́ tí ó gùn lọ, kò nílò láti jẹ́ kó gùn lọ. Kàn draw table yóò sọ iye emelu ni 30 hàn nínú value, nínú set of data yẹn. Emelu ló hàn lẹ́ẹ̀márùn. That's why you have frequency to be 5. Emelu ni 40 hàn, emelu hàn lẹ́ẹ̀méje. Emelu ni 45 hàn, ó hàn lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́rin. Emelu ni 50 hàn, ó hàn lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́wàá. Emelu ni 60 ló jáde ní inú set of data yẹn 9 times. Do you get it now? So when you have this table, it's actually simplified. It will not take space. It will simplify whatsoever list of data that you are having. Do you get it? It's still the same thing. It's just being represented with using table. Do you get it now? So now we want to now draw out the frequency distribution table. What you first of all need to write out is what? The score. You have the frequency, and you calculate your fx. You know you need your fx. Now 30 is your score, which is your x. Do you get it now? Which is x. Do you get it now? This is what? F. That is f. So for you to get your fx, you multiply 30 times 5, you give you what? 50. That 30 times 5 will give you 150. Pardon. 40 times 7 will give you what? 280. 45 times 4 will give you 180. And 50 times 10 will give you 500. While 60 times 9 will give you 540. Now, for each of these values, you have gotten your what? Fx. You have gotten your fx. You have gotten your fx. What you need to do, summation of x's. That means you will add the total. You will add all these values together again to get the total, which is, if you had 150 plus 280 plus 180 plus 500 plus 540, you get 1650. Then you now need to sum the frequency, the value of the frequency also. If we add 5 plus 7 plus 4 plus 10 plus 9, will give you 35. So you have gotten your summation f, and you have gotten your summation fx. And don't forget, summation f is also known or represented with what? Capital N. Do you get that now? So for you to now get the mean of these values, then you is your what? Summation fx over a summation f. What's the value for summation fx? That is 1650. What's the value for summation f is 35. So 1650 divided by 35 is equal to what? 47.14. 47.14, or 47 whole number 1 over 7. 47 number 1 over 7. So with this, we've come to the end of this class, and of course I know that you've been able to learn how to solve problems and how to get solutions regarding median, mean, and mode. All those are measure of central, they are what? They are aspect of central, measure of central tendency. Don't forget, mode is the most frequency score of value in the data set. Median is the mean value of the set of values arranged in the order of size, either in ascending or descending order, while the mean is obtained by what? By adding all the values of the data and dividing it by the sum number of the data, and we are able to talk about the frequency distribution table just briefly. So in our next class, we'll learn more on another topic. Bye.